Good evening, Sarma Garu. And
Yes, sir. Good evening.
good evening to all members. I'm very happy that I'm introducing Vishwendra, which is not necessary because everyone in photography community in Hyderabad and who are active, they know who is Vishwendra. He's a multi-faced personality, and he was very experienced photographer. He was in the field of photography for almost 3 decades, and he has done wonderful works on Araku tribes and rock formations. And he was awarded for his kind of work he has done. He was awarded Associate of Royal Photography Society, which is very prestigious. And he had the fortune of learning photography from one of the finest photographers from the India, Sri Sri Rajan Babu sir. I think there's a lot of disturbance.
I don't know where from.
Don't all the others.
Yeah, no more. I unmuted myself. So can you hear me? Yes, sure. Yes, okay, good. And yeah, he had a fortune of learning photography from one of the finest photographers from India, Sri Rajan Babu. And his photography journey started in early 80s. So since then, he has actively involved with the photography in erstwhile Andhra Pradesh, now in Telangana. And he conducted a lot of photography workshops. And at present, now he's the secretary of Telangana Photography Academy. And he nurtured a lot of young photographers that way. And and that's as a photographer. But he is also, as I said, he's multifaceted personality. He's also into films. So once you see Vishwendra in a frame in the movie, you cannot forget his personality. So he acted in a lot of movies. I'm not sure how many numbers, but I've seen him in a lot of movies. So we're all interested, excited to listen to him and his journey in the thought process, how he composed those images, and what he learned, how is his journey right from 1980s till date. So over to you, Vishwendra.
Oh, thank you, Satya. At the outset, I thank TPS and its office bearers for giving me an opportunity to talk to all the people about my humble photography journey. And I'm very fortunate that TPS, which was found very long back, by the stalwarts, is being continued, the tradition, by this young generation also. I'm very happy. So thank you very much. To start with, photography was my, childhood kind of dream kind of thing, but I never had an opportunity to have a camera in my house, or nobody from our family is a photographer. They're from basically agriculture, placed in rural area, in the villages. So I never had, but I started this photography journey. I joined Andhra Bank originally in 1976 at Warangal. At that time, Mr. Bharat Bhushan, who hails from Warangal, was studying in JNTU College of Finance and Photography, and he used to visit Warangal, and we used to stay in the room. So I got inspiration from him towards photography. I used to accompany him into Pakala, Ramappa, and other forest areas as a company, not as a photographer, but I was always impressed with his fine tuning of photography and all that. So I continued that thing of learning photography from somebody when I come back to Hyderabad. So finally, I was transferred to Hyderabad in 1980. At that time, Mr. Rajan Babu, who was in JNTU College, came out and started his own school called Rajan School of Photography. I'm so fortunate. I'm the first batch student of the Rajan School of Photography, along with other 9 members. So from there, my photography journey started. And learning photography from Rajan sir was a two-pronged. One thing is photography basics as technical part of it, and learning discipline in photography is another part. He was such a disciplinarian and very strict teacher, and who always give anything for photography, and anything, something wrong anybody does in photography, he doesn't like it. So we all, grew under his leadership as a photographers. So I'm very fortunate. My guru is Rajan sir, who is no more though, but his memories and his works and his knowledge is spread all across India through. In fact, he is the one who started the photography workshop movement in the country, along with other stalwarts. So that's how my photography journey started, Satya.
As I said, you are very privileged to learn from him, Vishendra.
Yeah.
Learning photography from him is a really privileged and fortunate.
So then at that time only, Rajan sir, along with Rajan sir, we used to have APPS. I joined in the 80. So I become life member in 84 in APPS. So at that time, the stalwarts, KT uncle used to bring out a one paper tabloid, one paper, communication kind of thing called KT's column, which is so popular. We used to wait for that. Every time he used to discuss one kind of subject in the photography. And OC sir was such a big nature photographer, animal photographer, and Ghanshyamji, Gulab Chandji, Dr. Ramurthy, all those stalwarts we were introduced at that time. But I'm so happy that the same tradition is being continued by the younger generation of photographers now, and they're doing excellent, service through APPS. Now it is TPS. I'm so happy that I belong to a very, very versatile organization. Once again, I congratulate them and thank them. So coming down to my photography, Rajan sir is basically a pictorial photographer. As you all know, pictorialism is one part of photography, but in every genre you can include pictorialism. As you all know, pictorialism, nothing but expressing oneself and creating amazing pictures which evokes emotions and thoughts like that. So we were all taken to pictorialism naturally because of a guru. So most of the time we practice pictorial photography. So
shall we start the presentation?
Yeah. And if anybody, even if you can ask something about it, then I think I can continue.
We'll do that in the end of after your presentation.
Okay.
We'll have a quick Q&A session.
Yeah. This is a picture from Aruku Valley. We were really, Aruku was one of the places, we can call it as a paradise on earth. Many photographers got their honors of different organizations from the works depicting Aruku tribes. Aruku, apart from the beauty of their culture and ethnicity, we have wonderful landscapes, and most of the people, yearly around 20 workshops being organized in Aruku by different clubs, organizations. People from all over the world, they're coming to Aruku to shoot. And a photographer, I feel that compulsorily a photographer must visit Aruku once in his lifetime. Once he visits, he will become addicted to the Aruku. This is one picture from Aruku Valley. This is, I think, this is taken in somewhere in 1990. At that time, we used only RAW 100 ASA film. This is all taken on film. These pictures are taken on film. And their early morning activity in Aruku is so beautiful because of atmosphere, the mist, the greenery around, and their early morning core, whether it is agriculture or household or washing or going to the well and all that, or agricultural fields are beautiful. Even now, you will get fantastic pictures of this kind of pictures in Araku, even now. Yeah, this is Dimsa dance. The ladies play this dance. It's a very popular dance of Araku, and they hold each other's hands. I've shot this from back because to show their, strong ethnicity and their bondage, their bond. Their bond is touching each other with so strongly. Even now, Araku Dimsa dance is very famous. And most of Araku tribes live on forest produce. Either it is gum or honey or these kind of Whitney istraklu antaro. They make this istraklu and lot of fruits, naturally grown organic fruits and agriculture produce. The famous, agriculture produce. They bring it to Sandys. In Araku, there is a long stretch of Araku. Every day, one place they conduct a market that is called Sandy. These people walk miles to reach that and sell these products and buy the essentials like kerosene and other material utensils like that from the people who do shops there. And these Sandys are one of the best place for a photographer to go and see. The early morning it starts. But one should reach there Sandy before sunrise, because you can catch these people walking to the Sandy. Those pictures, they walk through fields and yellow flowers. Arakula yellow flower, of course, I don't have any yellow flower picture here, but avisa flowers from which they produce oil and use it for cooking sometimes and also for personal use, cosmetic type. So they walk through those things, and those pictures you will get only when you reach the Sandy before sunset. The next picture, I think it is in black and red. Yeah, people like this, they walk miles away from their small villages or called placements to the Sandy. Yeah, the children. And they love flowers. Earlier in 1980s, 90s, they used to have these plastic flowers. So whenever we used to go to Araku for shoot, we used to carry hairpins, some saris, some these plastic flowers, and gift it to those people in the villages mostly. They were very happy. Also, we used to make pictures of the previous visit and then give it to them. Most of the people still have those pictures in their houses. Of course, they are a little damaged. They still carry. When we go recently, also we saw a couple of pictures given by our photographers, earlier photographers. The women folk are very strong. Mostly they work very hard, right from keeping the house properly, cooking, collecting forest produce and all that. Men usually work in the fields, but they most of the time they drink, even when most of the time they prepare ippaputo sara jastar vallu. That is very strong. And also they make some kind of drink with the rice, produce rice. They make rice to a type of white color they chestaru, very strong and pungent. These are the common thing, every day, everybody, ladies and gents, everybody will take this. This is one of the remote village.
Focus.
Yeah, somebody.
No, actually, just mute all except Vishender and Secretary Sir. You mute all rest of them. Okay.
Shall I also mute?
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. I'm asking
So one should make it a point to visit the interior villages to get the real beauty of Araku and their culture, and their the subjects will be very, very good. Next, please. Yeah, this is taken somewhere, I believe, in 1985 or 86. He is one of the village heads. Yeah, village heads. I had a 105 lens borrowed from our Guruji. I think I used that lens for this particular portrait. And what you find in Araku, basically, the children and the old people take care of the toddlers, youngsters. Their mother and father will go to the forest, and at home only these people are left. And mostly the young girls will take care of the kids. You can see that. And also the old women who cannot move out because of their age, they will take care of the kids. You will find number of pictures of old women and kids and young girls with the kids. So very fascinating, very nice pictures you will get it. So she is, when I took this picture, she was reported to me, I've taken this in a place called Suva, which is about 25 kilometers from Araku. And this lady was, I believe, at that time of 98, near 100. So after this picture, many people went there to shoot her. But unfortunately, by the next trip, when photographers went there, she was no more. This girl is from the village near Araku, where they make these pots. So recently, when I went there last year, I found this girl grown into a woman. Unfortunately, that picture I was searching in the computer to send it to you, but I could not find. So this girl has become big now. Now still she's making pots. Oh, this is a very famous location, and many photographers out of love towards Guruji, because Rajan Babu has shown the photographers the way to Araku, because he is the one who visited Araku first as working in he was an employee at that time in electricity board. He used to go to what is that called, project. So there he found these people. So this particular tree and this rivulet is there on the way to Paderu. There is a small bridge. From that bridge, we took this. So they named it as a Rajan Babu landscape. Majority of the photographers now, they named it as a Rajan Babu landscape. Of course, the tree is become little weak now. This is taken around maybe about 4-5 years back. Yeah. You will find nobody will miss this scene. This is my first picture taken in Araku. My first picture which I shot and which I could make finally a print. This is in 1981 I have taken. This woman, 1981 I have taken. Also, this has become one of panel entry for my ARPS honors. You can find that smoothness in our faces and all that. That is because of they use the natural oils and all that. And their hair is so beautiful, and they all use natural oils, So that's how it is. These men carry the produce to Sandys in this kind of things, miles. And it's so funny that they'll never wear chappal, and they walk up hills, miles, I don't know. They're so strong that way. She's one girl sitting at the Sandy. By 11 o'clock, they finish everything in Sandy, selling everything. Then 11 o'clock, they start drinking in the Sandy. By 2 o'clock, they will be closed. Sandy is 2:30, but everybody leaves Sandy to their villages. Most of them drunk, fully drunk. So this girl was just sitting, waiting for her people from a village to come so that she can go. So, this is one. And agriculture is very predominantly done. As you all know, this is done Podu culture. Podu culture, as all you know, this is done with only water from the rains on the slopes. They take one crop when the rainy season is there. They just still and leave the paddy, and that it will grow, and they'll cut it. And she is collecting the seed for the next this thing. She is one of the women. This one picture was, really, I'm so impressed with this picture myself. Because this old lady was sitting with that boy under a shadow of a hut. We were about 6 people went there in that safari. This is taken in 1997, I believe. So she was sitting there. Then first I reached her. I started shooting her in the sitting position. So almost I emptied 30 frames in that particular time. Then other 5 people, my other friends, started joining me with those big cameras, and then he started scared away. First time she's seeing so many people with cameras and all. She stood up and started crying, and that boy also started crying. Then at that time also I took some pictures, and this one picture is among those 36 frames. I named it as Disturbed. It was this at that time. This particular picture is still in rural development office in Delhi, central government. When Sanjeev Reddy was our IAS officer, he was impressed so much. He ordered one big print in black and white that still has in the room of rural development secretary in Delhi, Krishi Bhavan. As I told you that, yeah, young girls always take care of their kid brothers like this. When the people are away, the parents are away in the forest. And the old woman taking care of the kid. Yeah, this is how that is a typical way of standing, the people, I don't know, majority of the tribes, I think I saw many places, they take, hug each other and stand. Maybe that is a kind of security, or I don't know, but they will stand like that. You can see many pictures like this. And this man, that sharp thing using for holding the paddy husk. Yeah, that is a typical way of tying the baby to the body. The field works. This is a common scene in the mornings. Everybody takes early morning, and they're all very godly, feared people. They take bath every day. Early morning, this gentleman was taking a hot water bath. This is another typical babysitters. So this agriculture, as I told you, the main activity, there nobody employs anybody. These people, it's a cooperative system. Today they cut the paddy in my field, all the people come and help the farmer. And next time when they go to other, they will help each other, but they won't pay any salaries or anything like that. This is all a very common this thing, exchanged by only going there and working for others. typical. This is Dimsa dance. Of course, it's become too modern with those the saris and all that changing to synthetic. Everything little because of the influx of technology and everything. It is almost now a kind of in Araku. It is you can't find the real tribes with real faces, but you have to go to interiors to find that old traditional way of living and all that. These are some of the landscapes which I took it in Araku. These are the latest pictures taken on taken digitally. So those are my pictures from Araku Valley and their lifestyle. So other subject which I have extensively covered is Deccan rocks. As you all know, this Deccan Plateau is in possession of unique rock structures which are called balancing rock structures. This is spread in most of the Telangana districts and up to Karnataka. And these rocks evoke a lot of emotion, and then they're 2,500 million years old rocks. These are when the earth formed. They belong to that particular age. That age, they have gone. Geologists so when done that aging, they have given the 2,500 years rock. And you have a very strong organization in Hyderabad called Society to Save Rocks. And one German lady, as you all know, Frau Hader, she came from Germany, and after seeing these rocks, she's so impressed. And it pained her when these rocks have been destroyed, quarrying. So she started this Society to Save Rocks. And many people, big people, stalwarts and artists joined. And Mr. Narendra Luther, ex-chief secretary, who expired recently, was the president. And he fascination to rock so much. Mr. Luther house is constructed on a rock, entire rock. So his bedroom, his kitchen, his hall, everything rock protrudes. The big rock is constructed around that rock only. So my rocks association for me is my childhood. My village, which is around 35 kilometers from here on the Warangal highway, is surrounded by all rocks, rock structures, boulders and all. Whenever holidays, I used to run to those rocks and used to spend a lot of time there. So my association with rocks started from my childhood. I'm fascinated. So after that, when I migrated to Hyderabad for my higher education and job, I saw the rocks disappearing every month. Some rocks are disappearing, the beautiful rockscapes. So I thought, it is time to preserve them and then bring out some kind of, awareness among the people. But I strongly feel as a photographer, every one of us should contribute to work for the conservation, whether it is nature, rocks, mountains, rivers, or anything, for that matter, pollution, anything, we should use our, craft to definitely use it for the conservation purpose. Because a photograph is seen, when seen, evokes more responsibility among the people than a full page write-up. So as a photographers, we have got a better chance to conserve things which is being destroyed. As we have all experienced last year, the COVID, nothing stops COVID to kill anybody. We all realized how bad it was. The part of that we realized how fragile the humans are, how fragile. Unless we love our nature, protect whatever is left behind by these greedy people, we can't make our future generation to survive more. So as a part of my conservation effort, I started recording all the rock sites in Hyderabad and other Telangana districts. And unfortunately, half of those rocks which I've got now have been destroyed, either in the name of development or in kind of quarrying and all that. So it's a very tragic situation. So these rocks started evoking a lot of stories. They're telling a lot of stories to me. There many people said, what rocks can tell you? I tell you a story. In those days, I used to have a scooter. Early morning, I used to start and go shoot some morning light pictures and then wait there itself for the evening picture to come. Then after some time, when I was sleeping or taking rest under these huge rocks, I started hearing their stories. वो गूंज रहा था मेरे कानों में, ऐसा है हमला इतने दिन से यहाँ ठहरे हुए हैं, मतलब people don't care how चट्टानों कैसा है, I was so impressed. So that's why I named my company name, my farm name, everything. Of course, they started echoing stories in my ears. So everything, whatever I do, whatever business or whatever other projects I do, I named it as Ecos. So these were echoing their stories to me. Next. This rock is not there. This is near Narsingi. I think this is gone in ORR. So tragic. So when we are shooting rocks, we have to be, basically rocks look differently from different angles and different distances. So we should now basically, when you look at a rock, you should take, if possible, if it is clear, you should take a walk around it and find a proper, positioning. But I use all pictorial elements in these rocks instead of carrying them as they are. So I try to include pictorial elements in each picture which I've shot of rocks. So that way I will be able to make some kind of emotional attachment to these rock sites, and which also evoked some kind of response from my viewers. Unless recording as a recording picture as a snapshot, I try to bring in some kind of drama, some kind of patterns or tonality. I start increasing. And rock sites have to be, look beautiful only when there are clouds around. A bare sky will not give you a relief to a rock, So the depth to create, you should see that these kind of pictures you will find from September to December or somewhere where beautiful clouds formation will be there. Immediately after rainy season, also the atmosphere will be very clear because of rains. There won't be much dust and all. These are the best times to shoot rocks. Different shapes, different structures. This rock is there, and due to efforts of the Society to Save Rocks, this rock has been declared as a heritage site. This is in the Nandi Hills. Still, it is there. So they put it as a part of their layout and as a garden layout. This one. Yeah, you'll be seeing this rock. Most of the Hyderabad people who lived in Hyderabad 40 years or somewhere earlier. So this rock was visible even from Dilsukh Nagar. This rock was on the highest point. If you all remember High-Tech City, the round building, just abutting to that, there was a rock that is in Shilparamam. This used to be there. This is called Tipu Rock. They named it as Tipu Rock. Even from the distance of Kachigoda and all that, they used to see this. But once all the buildings have come, I'll tell you a story about this. A hotel was built, 5-star hotel built around this. Originally, the people wanted to destroy this rock. And there was a big movement. Again, thanks to the society, the big movement and other people, responsible people and other artists impressed upon them to include this as a part of their, landscape. So they could not destroy, but they included in the landscape. It's called Tipu Rock because this resembles a Tipu cap of Mysore. Next. So this is, I want to juxtapose with the destruction which is taking place. These are the very costly sites in Jubilee Hills. Each, 1.5 lakh rupees 1 lakh to 1.5 lakh rupees per yard. So when somebody is buying this, they naturally wanted to destroy them and use it. But some gentlemen, especially in financial districts, you will find that the hotel. What is that hotel name? I'm not getting. They use all the rocks as part of their architecture.
Trident Hotel.
Which one? Trident is, yes. Trident is, I'm talking about the previous district.
Yeah.
Which is that opposite to Wipro. On the hill, there's a beautiful greenery and around and all that. That hotel, I don't know. It's a kind of resort like a hotel. So they also used all the rocks. Similarly, Boulder Hills, which is now has a golf course and all that, they retained all the rocks. Next. This rock has been destroyed. At this place, the Trident Hotel has come. This is short, yeah. And for all rock lovers, I think most of you must have been already known and visited. Next. There is one place called near Medak, 10 kilometers from Medak. Edupayal temple, Edupayal Jatara happens. Edupayal is the biggest Jatara. There about 150 acres of government land, that is forest land is there, in which you will find every 20 yards, you will find a structure like this. If anybody is interested to do rock photography, you must go there. I think the whole day you can spend and you can come back with hundreds of beautiful rock formations. And again, thanks to the society and other people, concerned people and NGOs, this particular site has been again under the negotiations with the government of Telangana to convert it into a rock garden site with a couple of lakes to attract foreign birds and all that. Hopefully they will take up this because so far it has been protected. Next. Yeah, this is also from there only. You have beautiful rocks. This is around 40 to 50. This is about 30 meters from the ground. Yeah. And imagine the majesty of these rocks and their formation and the kind of story they evoke, the kind of emotion they evoke. This is from somewhere near Medchal. I called it as Tortoise Rock. The Monkey Rock, the Prashasan Hills, but gone. Yeah. This is somewhere in Medak district. Beautiful, plenty of them there, all around Hyderabad. But unfortunately, slowly they are disappearing. I thought before they disappear, before they become history, I want to at least capture them for the prosperity, this one, and then for future generations to know. This rock almost gone. This is such a beautiful rock somewhere near that DRDL. I think the whole, that hillock which you are looking has gone, I believe. When I went there the last time, I could not find it. Somebody was telling, no, sir, there used to be something like this, but we don't find now, they're telling the younger generations. Tadpole. Oh, this is Araku's picture. See, destruction already started. So I don't know whether this is there or not, I don't know. Only should go and see that. It is standing on a very tip, It's such a huge rock. You can see the scale. The humans down there, they're doing some kind of quarrying, and the kind of rock it is standing there. See the destruction. They destroyed. Yeah, see. They are done in granite and all that. They make it. And because of this religion, some of the rock sites were, protected because of religion, because there are some temples around there, and people mark it with this kind of red and white stripes to show this is a religious place. So that way, some of the rocks have been preserved. This one, the left one is there. You can see this, the newly formed the cable bridge. This goes by the side of this. The right one has gone. The left one is there. Mother and children, I named it. Near Hyderabad Open University. Next. Go to next, please.
Sorry.
I think we have to go to the next picture. Something wrong? Something went wrong? Satya?
I'm not sure, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it just got hanged. I think he'll sort it out.
Yeah. See, all the TPS members, every monthly meeting, they're doing only online, like?
Last since
because of this COVID.
we are doing twice, sir. One is on the second Saturday and another one is on fourth Saturday. So second Saturday the members do, and fourth Saturday the from other cities of India. So last month we had Anupsa, who is the Padma Shri awardee. Previously we had H. Satish, and previously Anil. So every fourth Saturday we do that, sir, and second Saturday members are.
Members, okay.
Yeah. Because of COVID, not many are. No, we can't have physical meetings.
Yeah, I know. So hang up in the.
Sir, just I'll come.
So, but previously you used to have meetings there only, no?
No. Last 2 years we are having it at Sony World, Hyderabad.
Sony.
Sony World, they're giving us their hall and TV and everything. We are having that. We are having that meeting.
Yeah, Vishendra, just for a minute. There is some technical flaw with Ashik Mehta. He's getting back again.
Sure.
Yeah, please hold.
Absolutely.
And also request the members for the sorry for the interruption.
Okay.
He's getting back. He's coming back again in a couple of minutes.
And how was Vishendra? How do you prepare when you're going for the shoot? Like, do you prepare with a preconceived, this is what I'm going to do, or you'll spontaneously do when you go there?
Spontaneously. All my pictures are taken spontaneously.
Okay.
But before going there, I would like to know from the seniors and already people who have visited that, at least a little bit of their experiences and knowledge, so that I will not have problem.
Yeah, let's start it.
Mostly I will not carry big equipment. I carry 50 mm lens for rocks, and I have got 16-28 lens. That's all. These two, that's all.
Brilliant.
I carry for rocks, as for rocks. Other things are concerned, I carry 50 mm lens and 105 lens I have got. That's all. These two lenses I carry.
Brilliant.
Not much equipment, nothing much equipment.
Yeah,
because I carry is a cumbersome weight. Unnecessarily, I noticed that majority of the pictures which I make from these two lenses. So why should I carry all those lenses?
Yeah.
And of late, I found one lens which is very useful is this 24-120. 24-120 f4 You know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
use Nikon range.
Yes.
D750 I use.
Yeah.
So that is very good to me now because, you know, one lens, everything is happening.
You forgotten filters, yellow or orange.
Gone, sir.
Cloud catch.
Filter days have gone. Filter days have gone. I've got a lot of filter. That is my black and white, you know.
Yes, yes, Vishendra, carry on now.
Yeah. This picture is taken somewhere in Narsingi. I named it as two things: night watchman, mullah, like this. A very huge boulder. This is. I think height could be somewhere about 30 feet or 35 feet. You know, this one. And very fascinating, as I told you earlier, these rock structures look differently from different angles. This is taken from the background. The front picture, if you can, I think it will cumbersome. The front side looks differently, entirely differently. This is the back of that picture. And if Ashik can show me the second or third picture, which look like a rabbit in the beginning. Beginning. Yeah. Can you see this? As I told you, it looks different from different angles. This is from the front side. Rabbit. And the other one is just now what you saw is from the back side. So the rocks have got that beautiful, yeah. Yes, this is from the back. That is from the front. You can see the beauty of these rocks. Next, please. Yeah, sitting duck. This duck has already disappeared. This is in the Kisara. When I went last time, you know, it all become some kind of development there, you know. Yeah. This also from that Medak Edupayalu. As I told you, every 20 yards, 15 yards, you will find a beautiful rock structure, a balancing rock. The huge boulder this is. Can you see the tip? It is standing on that small tip. And that tip is formed, it's not a rock, basically. It acidic, you know, it formed like water ton padi. Adi farm ayindadi. Yeah, this is a lone walker. And this rock is there in, what is that? The second high-tech building? Mindset building. Then Enakala, okati chinna, there's a small
Mindspace.
A Mindspace law, a small electric substation in the akkada there. When I took, there is nothing there, you know, it is like jungle. It's very difficult to even reach those places. So I'm happy I could catch those beautiful, yeah. The huge rocks, you can see the scale, the kids playing there. And these rocks, everybody thinks are just rocks. No, they're not rocks. They balance the whole earth, you know, and also they preserve a lot of species and animals among them. And if we cut the rocks, unfortunately, you know, underground water will deplete, and also there is a possibility of earthquakes. And you see in Hyderabad, most of the earthquakes zone is Banjarail Jubilees, because most of the rocks were cut there and imbalanced the land. And whenever there is a earth problem, you know, that happens there first. And also these, when you cut a rock, it's a very dangerous. Their ultraviolet rays are subject to a lot of cancerous cells, you know, because most of the people who work in these quarries get cancer because of that. It's a very danger, because it's 2,500 million years rock. Over a period of these many years, it has weathered and become a cover over that, so that nothing comes out of that rock. The moment you cut it open, then all the problem starts. And also these rocks will hold the earth, balance the earth, and preserve the underwater, and harbor many species, you know, and also some kind of trees, some kind of, leaves and all that they harbor, and a lot of medicinal plants you find in these rocks. Next. Oh, there's some issue.
No, sir. It's so we are done with the
I think Janardhan also took some kind of rocks. Chesar kadane Mira? I think I remember you. I saw a couple of pictures you have made on rocks. So, what difference do you find these rocks and then your Himalaya rocks, Satya? Very difference, big difference.
Yeah, I mean, there are different, this is Deccan Plateau. Yeah,
Yeah.
being a Deccan Plateau, this is much older
Yeah,
than.
these rocks.
Yeah, go on.
And these rocks are so strong, you believe me, this will take all the weathers. That is the reason why all the temples in America, which were built, the rocks were taken from Hyderabad, as you know that. These granite rocks, which are there, are so strong that can withstand all the weathers, but still they look beauty. So most of the temples in America, which were built with the rocks, were taken from Hyderabad. So this rock you will find in Prashasan Nagar, and it is no more now.
This is the last picture.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for the rocks. So we'll take anybody.
Yeah, so very interesting presentation, Ishwendra.
Thank you, Satya.
When I'm seeing these rocks photographs, I remember one song, E Nallani Ralalo. I was recollecting that.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
Recently, one of our TPS member, Ashok, I think.
He's there. He's here very much.
Ashok also doing a lot of rocks work. I think he posted that rocks and then this song in Facebook, I believe, very moved. Ashok is also doing a lot of rocks.
He's the second rock man.
Yeah.
Next to you.
In fact, I am at Kondapochama right now, listening to all of your commentary, and so beautiful. Thank you so much.
There, Kondapochama means that that lake, new
Yep.
lake.
Yeah, I am at a camp nearby.
Oh, what? You're on a photography trip?
Yeah. There are
What
about
are you
40-50 people here. We are having a camp as well as a bonfire. And overnight we'll be staying here, and then tomorrow morning we'll be going to the reservoir.
That's brilliant. Lovely.
Okay. You are on a photography safari?
No. Just a camping site. That's it.
Okay. Camping. Okay, fine.
Yep.
So, Satya, then?
Yeah, any questions from members?
Ashik, I think you'll have to take care. Any questions are there?
What is the impact of this city folks traveling to this Araku Valley in large numbers, the two?
What? I couldn't get you. What is it?
See, large number of people city folks are going to this Araku Valley, tribal valley. I am talking in general, tribal areas.
Okay.
The impact of this modernization on this tribals.
Lot of modernization is there.
Yeah.
They
slowly lose their own culture or try to copy the city folks, their dressings or whatever it is, eating habits.
Yes, but a lot of artificials is set in there of late. And as photographers, I think it is wrong on our part to say that development and technology should not reach the people. It should reach the people. But nevertheless, if we are trying to catch certain of their culture, it will not be good to go in big groups. Maybe
Exactly.
4 or 5 people can go, just live with them, understand them, catch them candidly. Though they are becoming little modern, but their living conditions and their all kinds of things are still intact. So if we want to catch their system and catch their heritage, it is always advisable to go in a small group like 4 people or something, and find somebody who are known to that place. If anybody is really interested to go in 4 or 5 groups, I can attach the local people, those who can help you out as a guide. They can help you and take
what
you.
we are seeing is most of the present day pictures,
Ah,
the models are so-called people, not
yes,
tribal.
unfortunately.
They have
That's an
become
unfortunate thing.
like they are wearing gaudy lipsticks and then the earrings and all that, which is not original tribal wears actually.
Yeah, they are taken from here and dressed up as tribes, but they are going there for the backdrop and then the atmosphere, and maybe a name Aruku sells probably, I don't know, but but when we never caught any picture of other than Aruku locals, in our photography journey, we never tried to do it, but we tried to capture the sandy pictures and the street photography there, and also landscapes. We want to show Aruku. When you're in Aruku, show Aruku.
Sorry. Yeah.
That's all. Aruku culture,
But do you think that using floodlights or reflectors and all good in such places?
No. See, thing is, now I think this is my personal opinion. Using reflectors, floodlights is not necessary. It was necessary when we were doing analog system, because at least lighting, they're not that sensitive. But today, you have got such a sensitive cameras. Then what is the use of using floodlights and all that? Use the light only, That is the reason people forgot the role play of the light, natural light, the play of light, Photography is nothing but writing with a light. So they forgot about it. They take all the artificial routes to lit the things and do all the, not necessary. All the pictures which you have seen taken in Aruku was not even used a reflector or anything. They're taken, we used to wait for the natural light.
Exactly.
That is the reason why people say at 45 degrees angle only, you shoot. After that, you just forget about it, just sleep. Don't take pictures in the afternoon. Again, in the evening, when you get the small period of light, because in the evening, it will be very limited period that light will be there. Otherwise, it will be fast growing away or becoming very weak. No, but people have become lazy, When we go to workshops, you're supposed to start at 5:30, but people will slowly go at 9 o'clock. By that time, harsh light will become harsh.
Harsh light.
Kind of things, artificial lights, reflectors. What you get out of it? You can never catch an emotion. What is pictorialism? You have to create an emotion. You should create and evoke. You first of all get emoted with the subject, and then you create an image which evokes ultimately that emotion in the viewer. That's how it is. But it is now all become cosmetic. I don't know, but that is the trend.
Your monochrome pictures are so natural, whereas in color, what we see nowadays with all the artificial cosmetic additions and all that, it doesn't look really, tribal. It looks more like a setup picture.
Yeah. No, but always black and white, always, black and white. Why they look so natural? Because, the grades between black and white, the kind of gray tones which it takes, they gives you so much imagination to think the black and study the black and white. You never get bored to look at the black and white picture. But whereas color, they attract the eye so much, they drag away your view from different angles for different colors. So ultimately, you will mess up what is the actual subject. That is the reason why black and white pictures evoke more response, more depth, more emotion in the viewer and as well as the photographer. Only thing is, one should how to use the grayscale from the black to white, how many this thing. And there, black and white, it is mostly the first thing is understanding the light. The magic of light is most important thing in black and white. And also the composition. You should have strong composition values in a picture to bring out that particular beauty and aesthetics in a black and white picture. But in color, what happens, they use colors. It's something like, I don't know, but I always prefer black and white. But for basics, black and white, you should have strong basics. Photographers should have strong basics, especially depth of field and especially play of light. The magic the light creates, the patterns, different patterns. One should understand those things to create an image.
Like you said, composing a rock from different angles, it gives a different ideas or different pictures.
Yes.
Even lighting is also a composing, that's important. How you compose the light on the subject.
No, but see, when you are taking pictures, see, studio exposure is entirely different. If you are making a studio portrait, yes, the lights is under your control. You can use lights according to the mood of the subject. That is your job. Whether you're taking a tabletop, a model photography, or indoor modern photography, a figure study, lights are under your control. But especially when you're doing outdoor shoot, where is the question of taking away artificial lights into the outdoor?
Exactly.
You have to use this reflector. You have this
I'm
thing.
talking of the available light, how you
Available
use.
light.
That's
Available
very
light only, they
important
look good.
Exactly.
Available
yeah.
light only, they look good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
And
you so much, sir.
Ashik, any more
Yes, sir.
questions?
Any more
We have
questions?
few questions. One of the first questions asked by Sarma sir only. So,
Yeah.
have these rocks been videographed by anyone afar or well documented with all details?
What is it? I couldn't-
So these rocks, do these rocks have been videographed by anyone with all the details?
Yeah. There's so many people did documentaries on this, including B. Narsingh Rao Garu and other people documented these rocks and made films also on that. And probably some more people must have done it. And then our Society to Save Rocks got a lot of, pictures and documentaries done.
Okay.
They've done it. But my idea was, my approach is different as far as not only documenting, I want to bring out a beauty in rocks. No, that was my approach. I tried my best to use all the pictorial elements in each of my picture to show, that.
And like, if we want to find your pictures, where can we find?
Pictures?
Like the pictures taken by you, like if we want to find, where can we find?
Oh yeah, you can do that.
No, do you have any website or like?
No, I have Ecos Photo Art. I've got a page called Ecos Photo Art. All my pictures are there. Ecos, ECHOES Photo Art is my this thing. And also www.ecosphotoart.com is my website.
And we have one question from Nagmari Sethi. What do you prefer most, black and white or color? And could you let us know why?
No, I prefer black and white because black and white has got a lot of depth and it evokes more response than the color. Color has got the tendency of distracting the viewer with so many varied colors in the picture. It's very difficult to make a very, a subject, so direct one particular view to a main subject. You require a lot of skill and a lot of effort to do in color. But in black and white, your subject is perfect. You can do play of light and composition. You can do it perfectly. Because color, see, certain subjects, color looks very beautiful. For example, you take Satya's photographs of Himalayas. They're so beautiful colors because those colors are huge. It is not patches. It's a pattern scale colors. One scale to another scale, so many colors are there. Naturally formed colors. If some photographer can really catch those colors properly, that particular resolution, I think they are very good. Of course, certain subjects need only color. Certain subjects need only black and white. But I prefer black and white pictures look good when there are heavy shadows, heavy highlights. Where the contrast pictures look good in black and white. The light and soft pictures look good in black color. That's what I feel.
And we have a question from Sudhanshu. His question is like, can we reach out to you by email or phone if you want to,
I have my Facebook ID also, Komedi Vishwendra Reddy, and but I have got my number also. You can just put it in your what do you call TPS? You have WhatsApp group is there, no? And I also got this is Vishwendra Reddy at gmail.com, my email ID.
And same question from Sudhanshu. Like, if you want to contact you for a trip to Arku Valley or other tribal villages? Can we contact
Sure,
you?
sure, definitely. Anytime you can approach me by my WhatsApp group, or you can call. That best thing is WhatsApp.
Yes, sir. I think those
My
are the
phone
questions.
number you can share 98490-53747 is my phone number. 98490-53747. Anytime they can call me, and whatever knowledge, whatever my knowledge know about the subjects, I can definitely spare. And I can also tell you, if I don't know, I can tell you the names and people whom you can approach for other help, logistical help and all that. Especially in, for example, if you want to go to this Kaitalambadas near Kamareddy, I can give you beautiful references of those people. They're very good people, and you can go and approach them. You'll get all the help. Like Aruku, if you want to go, I have a couple of people who are employed there, tribe themselves. They can guide you there without any problem. Such a things we can always help you out. Suppose if you want to go to Papikondalu, we can help you out in finding some logistics like that, because we have already done things there. And we have clubs all over Andhra Pradesh, erstwhile Andhra Pradesh. We have about nearly 45-50 clubs are there, photography clubs. All those club members are practicing fine art photography now. Apart from doing weddings and all that, they're all participating in salons, and they're all working for honors and all that. So all those people will be very good. Whenever you want to go, you just give me a message. I can put on you to the correct people, those who can help you out there logistically, guide you, and all those things. You can just give my number, 98490-53747. They can, it's best, instead of talking, because we will be in different, times, different works will be there. WhatsApp is very good. When we'll find that, we'll give you the full clarity, clear this thing. Anything you want.
రెడ్డి గారు,
సార్,
మీరు ఇప్పుడు ఫోటోలు తీయడానికి విలేజ్ లో వెళ్ళినప్పుడు ఎవరైనా అటాక్ చేశారా? డిస్టర్బెన్స్ అయినా అయిందా?
ఎక్కడండి? మన అరకులోనా?
అరకు కాదు, అరకు ఎక్కువ టూరిస్ట్ ప్లేస్ కాదు, పర్వాలేదు.
I faced problems when this rock photography was done, because at that time government of Andhra Pradesh was doing survey for government lands. Those people thought I am one from the government taking pictures of their lands and all that. So those people become little violent. But somehow I managed by telling them, look boss, I am not from government. I am like this. I am just doing this. Then చెప్పి వాళ్ళతోని సంజాయించేసి కొద్దిగా లోకల్ వాళ్ళతో మాట్లాడి అయింది. అంతేగాని ఇంకా నోవేర్ ఐ హ్యాడ్ ఎనీ ప్రాబ్లం అండి.
నాకు 2 సార్లు జరిగింది. నా లాంగ్వేజ్ ఐ యామ్ ఫ్రమ్ కృష్ణ. I faced problem. Vikarabad and
Vikarabad. No, but mostly people, approach and approach. See, I sincerely feel whether he's a visual artist or performing artist, he should have nice habit of talking to people, and he should be positive oriented. He should create all positive vibes around him. And forgetting because we are after all, simple life, every human understands us. We cannot go for any kind of thing, We have to have positive approach, and I feel, and we should be good, and we should be good human being to make good pictures and humble. ఏముందండి, మనకంటే లక్షల కోట్ల మంది మంచి పిక్చర్లు తీసుకోవాలి ఉన్నారు.
నేను వికారాబాద్ లో తీసినప్పుడు అక్కడ రైతులు పొలాల్లో ఉన్నారు. మమ్మల్ని చూసి ఫోటోగ్రఫీ ఎవరికో ఫోన్ చేశారు. మోటార్ సైకిల్ మీద 4-5 వచ్చేసారు. వచ్చేప్పుడు అప్పుడు కన్విన్స్ చేశాను నా దాంట్లో. వాళ్ళు కన్విన్స్ కాదు. అప్పుడు నా పక్కన లక్కగా జితేంద్ర ఉన్నాడు. వాళ్ళ స్టైల్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేసి సేవ్ చేస్తారు.
అంటే కొందరు రిఫ్రాప్స్ ఉంటారండి, ఏం పల్లెల్లో విలేజ్లలో ఉన్నారు. ఇఫ్ దట్ ఆ టైంలో వాళ్ళకి తాగున్నారు అనుకో, ఆ ఇష్యూ సపరేట్ అయి ఉంటది. ఇంకా మనం ఎంత కంట్రోల్ చేసినా కంట్రోల్ కాదు. అటువంటి సిచ్యువేషన్లలో మనం సరెండర్ అయిపోవడమే. బాస్ ఏమైనా చేయండి బాస్, దిస్ ఇస్ మై సిచ్యువేషన్ ప్లీజ్. మనమేం ఆర్గ్యూ చేయకుండా సరెండర్ అయిపోవడం. సేమ్ థింగ్ లైక్ పోలీస్ అండి. పోలీస్ తో ఆర్గ్యూ చేసినాం అనుకో, వాడు రెచ్చిపోతాడు. బాస్ నీ ఇష్టమన్నా చేయవా బాబు, నేనేం చేయలేదు, యూ డూ వాట్ ఎవర్ యూ వాంట్, టెల్ మీ వాట్ ఐ వాంట్ టు డూ, రమ్మటా పోలీస్. ఆ టైప్ లో పోవాలి. కొద్దిగా మనం కొద్దిగా నేర్చుకోవాలి. ఎందుకంటే యాజ్ ఎ ఫోటోగ్రాఫర్ we'll encounter such unfortunate situations sometimes.
I think no more questions from Ashik. Any more questions from the chat section?
I have one question, sir.
Yeah, please.
Probably the last question from my
Oh,
side.
yes. Go ahead.
So, it is an amazing presentation, sir.
Thank you.
Got to learn a lot of things about not just rocks, but also
Is
the
it Aditya speaking?
Yes,
sorry, sir.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
Aditya.
Aditya. Okay. Yeah.
Just stop somewhere.
No, it's okay. So not just about the rocks, but even the processing what you applied on the rocks in black and white tone, the highlights and the contrast, whatever is mentioned about, that also we could learn. It was a good learning experience, sir. Sir, you also mentioned about your Guruji many times, Rajan Babu sir. So
Yeah.
I wanted to, like, I keep asking all his favorite students actually, like, what is some of your key takeaways from Rajan Babu sir, which you currently you feel that you are somewhere applying them, and what about such points what you can share with us, so that somewhere down the line, whatever he contributed to photography, it came from him to you all. From you all, it should come to us in at least one or two key points, something.
See, Rajan Babu is a contribution to the photography in Andhra Pradesh, the two states of Andhra Pradesh in particular, and in India in general, is that. And he is a strong pictorial photographer and also a painter, an artist himself. And he learned things from the earth. He is from earth. He's a Zameen ke aadmi enter jodandi. He is from the grassroots. He is learned this art from that. So he believed all basics, mostly basics. He used to insist on basics. Unless you know basics, you can't play anything. You learn basics very strongly. That's what we notice today. Today, the camera, you know, I've yet to see a person, even in weddings and all that, when a picture is taken, unless he see the back, he will not go to the next shot. But when we learned the photography, we learned the photography with all the knowledge on the field, because 36 frames, you are the director, you are the cameraman, you are the composer, you are the scriptwriter. And light, you should understand. Then shoot it. Unless you come and develop it, process it, then only you will know whether it is correctly exposed or not. We can't afford to make a mistake. Even one frame in 36 goes under or over. It was a very bad situation for us, because in those days the photography was very costly. And that is the reason why he used to always insist, if your 36 frames, if 30 frames are properly exposed, aperture properly put, properly composed, you don't consider himself you are a photographer. He used to tell us, all the students, you get me, subject, forget about it. First of all, did you learn the exposure, the aperture, the light? Did you learn it? Then the next step is composition. Next step is play of light. Did you understand? And the last step is emotion. Till that time, it is only snapshots. Go and shoot something like. Then when you learn all these basics, then comes to the last stage of creating pictorialism. Whether you really understood what is pictorialism, what is that, what is the sensitivity you have inside you, what is the creativity you have inside you, what is the emotion you have inside you. Are you trying to bring that into the picture you are making? He used to say the last, that one. And if it is not there, he used to say, no, you are not a student. You are not done anything. Your diploma is waste. You are a snap shooter. Go and shoot documentary, which is marriage. But don't think of you are a pictorialist or think of anything like that, he used to say. So we are supposed to learn all the basics, make all the basics, see the master's pictures, including his pictures, and try to understand the sensitivity of each image. See, the thing is, a picture is made and shown, print. if a viewer looks at the picture and analyze himself from different perspective, the picture is good. If I show a picture, if a viewer has got a leverage to analyze the picture, and from his perspective angle, if we can say, no, this picture is good, this I would have changed like this. If that particular subject lesson is there in that picture, I think you have almost 50% fulfilled. So he used to tell that. He used to show every picture, and composition was a strong base he made us. The moment we lift the camera in our small viewfinder, we used to compose the picture first. And then photography is not clicking. Photography is seeing. Are you able to see? Are you able to observe? Whether it is a visual art or performing art, it is observation and seeing. Then only you will learn. You first see, try to see what is good in the atmosphere. There's such a big universe, such a big canvas, a small portion, whether it has got any vibration, any emotion, or any story, or anything, action, or any sorrow, any happiness. Do you find anything there in that particular frame? That has to be there. Then he started teaching us seeing, how to see a good emotion, how to see a good subject, and then converting it to picture. So we learned seeing first from him. So that's what still we implement. And as far as his contribution is concerned, I can say without any hesitation, all 90%, more than 90% of the people who got honors or different honors from this Telugu speaking states have one time or the other had his guidance or its students. We can proudly say that. He has created that thing in the entire country, that Andhra Pradesh people, their pictorialism is so strong because of Mr. Rajan Babu.
Yes, even now we see his style in a way being carried forwarded, and I'm not sure if I can use the word rightly. His works being that is tried to copied by so many people.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. No, influence only, Aditya. That influence is still there with him, with many people. Many people still there. And you will know that in every workshop there will be a grand award in the name of Rajan sir. Even now, yesterday also in Aruku, day before yesterday in somewhere they'll definitely put a. So his influence, his pictorial influence, his photographic influence is there. Almost entire this Telugu speaking 2 states will still carry on that, because there were strong points which he is told linger in our minds even now. Of course, many people must have done different angle, must have approached and succeeded, but his influence was very strong. Yes, definitely strong.
Sure, sir. Thank you for sharing such key takeaways, whatever you got from him to us. Because unless we share with each other, these things will just remain as a closed box there itself. Thank you, sir, about sharing.
Thank you very much. And finally, thank you, friends. And thank you, Satya, Sharma, Aditya, Ashik, Arvind, and all other office members of TPS for giving me this opportunity to interact with my friends. It's a great opportunity. Thank you once again, Satya. I wish that I would travel to Himalayas with you, but I don't know. I'm not that,
Yeah, most welcome, Vishendra. Most welcome. Be great. Be great.
Yeah.
And finally, Vishendra, I will have some words. And it's a very thrilling and very thrilling and enthusiastic session that we had. We love it. With the rocks and the rustic life.
Yes, sir.
That you have dealt with today. You have been doing this photography in the last 4 decades.
Yes, sir.
And you could present us the vanishing treasure of the rocks in particular, and the traditional life of the earlier tribal people of Araku also.
Yes, sir.
Unless, and again I am coming to the rocks, unless the government has a firm will and determination to preserve the nature in its pristine glory, it will be difficult for us to see the future generations to see these nature in as it is now.
No, as a responsible photographer, sir, we should try our best to conserve whatever is available to us in this world. And our might is very strong. You know, our photographs evoke. It can stop wars. It can create wars. You know, you have seen from recent times how people have reacted to pathetic photographs. You know, photographer is such a powerful man. I tell you, his images are so powerful. They can make anything possible, I tell you. So at corner, we should have that conservation. Wherever we travel, if something is doing something mistake or some disappearing, some monument is disappearing, we should shoot and use the media, various media, print or electronic media, to bring it to the notice of the government, other NGOs, or agencies or people or like-minded people. You know, that will definitely bring in results, you know, definitely, yes.
Yeah. And thank you very much for your spending your time, taking your own time for us. And I also thank all our guests and members here. Thank you very much. And I thank Sri Satyaprasad Yachandra Garu for his efforts to make this happen. And also Aditya, Saurabh, Ashik Mehta in particular, again, he has done a great job today. And Saurabh Gunti from a far side, and despite being so busy with his CAT examinations, he has spent his time with us. And also I thank Richa for this catchy posters that she has made for this program. And thank you all guests, and also wish you all the best in all your future endeavors, Vishyendra Garu. And yes, it is our fortune that you are here today.
Both behind the camera and in front of camera, both.
Thank you very much.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Have a good day and happy clicking.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.